Okay, so welcome everybody to Asia Commerce Academy. Okay, some of you known faces, I think we met last time, correct? Direct tax or something we met. Okay, what are we going to learn today? Did anybody tell you? Okay, so we are here to talk about indirect tax. And I believe we have CA, CMA candidates here. Okay, how many CMA candidates? CA and CMA, you guys are? Okay, makes sense. Okay, we are going to travel from GST to ITC. Okay, what is the full form of ITC? Okay. Now, since most of you came out of intermediate, GST is not new to you, correct? But I am going to assume you know nothing in GST, you know nothing in ITC. I will start from the scratch. If you know, you have to fill in the blanks and make me go faster, okay? I must believe that you guys know something about GST, okay? Now, before that, you need to know about subject from an exam point of view. Okay, what are you going to do and what am I going to do? Correct? Now, did they tell you I'm going to teach you indirect taxes? They did not tell you? No? Yes or no? No? I'm not going to teach you indirect taxes. What I'm going to do is I am going to open up all the layers within this goods and services tax to know that you already know this. The only thing is you do not know what you already know. Don't you all pay indirect taxes, GST? Whenever you buy, you all pay. What you don't know is what happens after that. Yeah, you know it reaches to whom? It reaches to the government. What if it does not reach? When does it reach? How does the government know you filed it? Correct? How does the government know that you filed it? All these things is what you think you don't know. I will make you do this travel. You will realize for yourself that yes, you knew it. There are some fine points that you gathered. So basically, I am your travel guide. So you should know who's your travel guide now. Okay? I am Dr. Kasiviswanathan. Okay? I'm a PhD in finance. I've written a book on taxation. Okay? I am also a lecturer at Swiss School of Business and Management, Geneva. And I am working in the product management division of a company. I'm in this industry of product management for the last 20 years. Okay? I'm also a lawyer. Okay? Now I'm your guide. Okay? Because I guide students who are doing PhD in the business school that I said. So I'm going to guide you also and you will learn by yourself. Okay? Now, is it going to mean that it's going to be a jolly all process? I don't want to give you false hope. Okay? Why? If you have to pass this paper, okay, it's a jolly all process. I know that. I can make you do that. The idea is not to pass this. This paper, if you score anything less than 60%, okay, you should not pardon yourself. Why? There are other papers in group 4 of CMA and group 2 of CA final where scoring even 40-45 is difficult. Frankly speaking, yes or no? Okay, direct tax. Have you seen the syllabus? CA final, CMA, whatever. Correct? There are a minimum of 300 provisions. I am talking about the main sections in direct tax. Forget subsections, provisos. Okay? Here you have one law to study. Okay? Majorly. I'll give you the breakup of this. You know what is the breakup, but within the breakup you should know what you have to focus on. Okay? There is one law to study here and that you have to master and you have to target 60. Correct? Less than 60, then your time in the class is not worth it. because 40 you can study from home also. Then this will help your group to clear. Okay. Now, as far as CA final is concerned, okay, this indirect tax, they test you on two things. One on GST, okay, one on customs and FTP. Correct? Did you know this? Anybody first time? First time? They test you on these two things. Okay? What is FTP? Foreign trade policy. Okay? Now, customs is that Customs Act. Okay? Customs Act is pretty narrow. Okay? FTP, they are not going to ask you the entire government of India's foreign trade policy. Okay? No. They are going to ask you the guidelines of it. Okay? That is what they are going to ask you. Now, the breakup is 75-25. Okay? 70-30, 75-25. Sometimes they cross the border. You can take it as 75-25. Within that 75-25, here, since you people are in final, okay, all of you are CMA and CA final, correct? Yes? Or going to be CA, CMA final, isn't it? Okay. Now, this is a procedural law. What is the meaning of a procedural law? By the way, you will have to talk a lot. I won't talk all the time. Okay? There will be a lot of learning, teaching that you will do and I will learn also. Okay? What is a procedural law? No right, no wrong answer. Don't worry about all these things. Okay?
Law based upon the procedures.
What procedure? You're right. Procedure what?
Something stated in the act.
Stated in the act.
Procedures we follow in the business.
No. Procedural law means this has a lot of activities, filing returns, multiple returns, okay, proof of goods supplied, services consumed, credit note, debit note, this, that, a lot of paperwork goes on. Only thing is, now it is all electronic, but it is still e-paper, okay, which means there are a lot of procedures, okay, assessment, okay, procedures, and what is the main aspect? The main aspect is valuation. Okay, we are only talking from an exam point of view. Why? Because the approach that I would suggest all of you to do is focus on what is asked in the exam, catch that knack, then clear the exam. Remaining, once you come into this field, all your life you are going to be reading, learning, updating yourself, amendments and all those things. Fine? Okay? Now, there is this aspect and there is this. Valuation. What do you think we are going to value in GST? What are we going to value? Don't worry about right or wrong, okay? It's better to be wrong here than in the exam. I told you last time, correct? The ones who were there last time. Okay? What are we trying to value here? Goods and services. Valuation of goods and services. And what?
Supply of goods and services.
Valuation of goods and services and gross tax. What? Liability. Okay? Why? Because the GST is an ad valorem tax. What is the meaning of ad valorem? All of you did degree, BCom or doing economics.
Tax on value.
Very nice. Tax on value. Okay. I can give a fixed percentage tax also, no? I can give a fixed percentage tax. Okay. Whatever is value, whatever the service, whatever goods it is. Okay. No valuation, nothing. Irrespective of what you earned, what you supplied, whatever. You have to pay me every year. Okay. Turnover based 50 percentage. Finished. 20 percentage. Finished. I can give that. But this tax is not like that. This is an ad valorem tax. Ad valorem tax means based on value, which means you have to value the goods and services. You have to value, correct? Yes? Following? You have to value. Okay? Now, how will you value? You all know good valuation in accounts, goodwill valuation, asset valuation. You do based on what? Huh? So, who gives you the guidance or the rules to value anything in the balance sheet? Asset, goodwill, accounting standards, right? Likewise, you should have something here. Logical, no? What is that? That is given in the Finance Act and the rules that are made by the Government of India. Okay? We use those rules. You will read, write, study, understand those rules, do the valuation, okay, and then you will apply the rate of GST, and then you will come to the liability, tax liability. Yes? Clear so far? Okay. I will give you 30 seconds. Think. You have any question? Then I will go to the next offer. I won't rush. You should make me rush. Okay. You should say that I understood this concept, come on, next. Okay. I will go slow because I have to take care of that student also who is the slowest. Okay. If you are fast, you have to tell me. Think and tell me, do you have any questions on this so far? We are still talking about the exam point of view. Okay. From an exam point of view, both CA final, CMA final, most of your questions will be on this. You won't even need a calculator. It will be very, very conceptual. They will try to test you. Do you know how to value something? Okay, according to the rules. Okay, do you know exemptions? Do you know what are exempt goods, what are taxable goods, what are input goods, what are output goods? Okay, they will test you on the concept. Most of the indirect tax papers you can solve without a calculator. Okay, so your focus should be on valuing goods and services and then calculating liability. Now this is about the 70-30 for example. Within that 70-30, 40 to 50 marks will be around this. Okay, now you know where to hit to get that 60 percentage. Okay. This is one time concept. You invest, you learn that concept perfectly one time. Done. You can score a maximum of 45 to 50 marks. There is so much to learn on these procedures. So many forms to be filed. So many timelines. So many dates. And after doing all of them, you might get questions around 12 to 15 marks. You can't leave this but. You can't leave this. But you have to be double careful on this because you have to score the maximum out of that. Okay? And then we will take care of customs and FTP. Okay? So that we don't leave any stone unturned. Okay? But what is the approach we follow? CMA students, can you tell me what is the full form of this? Anybody? Activity based management means what? You know a certain area is going to fetch you a lot of marks. Your focus should be more on that. Okay? For example, if you study morning till night or evening, okay, the best time of the day you have to study the area that fetches you 40 to 50. Okay. Slowly when you become a little worn out, you have to then start memorizing these procedures, customs act sections. Okay. Customs also you will have valuation. Okay. Take 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Think and tell me if you have any questions. Am I going fast? Am I going all right? Can I go faster? If you tell me, okay, we can go to the next. Take 10 seconds is your time.
What exactly is gross tax liability?
Gross tax liability? Good. Now, based on the valuation, okay. You know income tax? Income tax you know, correct? In income tax, based on your income, you arrive at a certain tax amount, correct? What will you do with the tax amount? What will you do? If you have to pay to somebody, what is it in accounts? It's a liability, correct? Now, you arrive at the tax amount and then you give chapter 6A deductions, okay? Then other deductions, AT, IU and all those things, okay? Part of chapter 6A only. And then you arrive at what? Your final tax payable amount, net, right? This is before that. Gross tax liability is, here you don't have such things like chapter 6A and all those things. You have a tax liability and you have to pay. Before paying, there is something. That something is here. That I will tell you. Before that, if you have any questions, let me know. One question you had. Anybody else? No? All good? Okay. I'm going to ask you a very basic question. You should make me feel that what kind of question he asked me. Okay. I want your answers like that. Okay. What is the difference between direct tax and indirect tax? Huh? Incidence and impact is on same person. Indirect tax on?
Cascading.
It goes cascading. It gets cascaded to whom?
The ultimate customer.
To all of us. Correct? That's the difference. Now, tell me, who are the parties here? How many parties are there, by the way, in any indirect tax? Forget any indirect, let's talk specifically about GST. How many parties are there to this GST? In income tax, who are the parties? There's only one person, assessee. That's all. There are no two parties, only one person, assessee, government, over. You earn income, any income, you go pay tax, finished. Is it the same here? There are two people involved here. Who is that? Consumer, okay, and supplier is the right word, and purchaser. Purchaser, think. Sales tax, did you all study? You studied sales tax. Sales tax is based on sales. GST is not based on sales, it is based on. Brilliant. It is based on supply, which means supplier and correct. I told you, you know it. I'll make you say that. You said me, correct? Okay? So there are two parties here. Supplier of goods and services, receiver of goods and services. That's all. Okay? So two parties. Now, this person supplied, this person received, and then he did something with this. There is no sale involved anywhere. Can we still apply GST? Yes. How many yes? Question? This person supplied, he received, and then he did something with those goods. So there is no sale here. Can I still apply GST? How many yes, how many no? See, no answer is not an answer. Right or wrong? Have an answer. Yes. which means this is a supply or a movement based tax. We don't have to wait for a sales agreement here. This is not sales tax. Fine? Clear with these minimum basic concepts? Everything? If you are clear, then we will now go into why did I pick this travel GST to ITC? Because this is the crux of the topic. Whether for exam or in practice, most of the litigations, fight and questions in exam are all around this. Why? If you have to know input tax credit, you should know tax. How much tax you paid, then only credit. Correct? If you know tax, you need to know the value. If you need to know the value, you need to know valuation rules. If you need to know the valuation rules, you should know who supplied to whom and the rules. Finished? If you go backwards, entire chapter will open in front of you. Okay? Now, before I go into the rules, tell me one again very basic question, and ensure you should make me feel what? Why did I ask this question? Okay? Why is there a need for input tax credit in GST? Do you have income tax credit? 115 JB, JC, those credits are different. That is not for you, companies and everything is different. Okay? Here, that is MAT credit and all those things I am saying. Okay? That is, forget about it. That's not, as an assessee, if you pay more income tax, what happens? You get a refund. Correct? Here, I am saying there is some kind of credit concept involved. You tell me why. I will tell you in 1 minute. You take your time and tell me why should a credit be given here? To avoid cascading effect, correct? Okay? Correct, that's the answer. Valorum, add valorum. Add valorum means on basis of value, that's all. In olden English, it is like that. What happens is, we spoke about this, okay? Now, he sent goods worth 100 rupees, okay, on which you paid tax of 18%. Finished? Now, this person, he uses those goods for further processing. And the value of the goods after he does, packaging, assembly, polishing and everything, the value becomes 140 and he will further move the goods. Now, if I pay 18% on this, what happens? There are two components to this 140. What are those two? 100 and I want everybody to say. Wait. There is one. This 140 has two components: 100 and 40. Correct? 40 he contributed. 100 he contributed. On this 100 I have already paid 18%. Why will I pay again? Cascading effect. What will happen? If I don't do this, on the end person, several 18% will go. Okay? So what we thought is, let him pay tax on this 140, 18%, but when he pays, let's reduce this 18 rupees. Finished? So that it doesn't get double taxed. Okay? Now, so far clear? Now what the government decided was, there will be three kinds of tax. GST itself, three. Can you tell me the names? One by one. Okay? So do we pay 3 times 18%? What we do is, this 18, by the way, either this or this. Okay. If I pay 18 percentage, it gets divided between this and this, approximately 50 percentage in most cases. There are exceptions that we will see. Generally, it is 50 percentage. Okay. This is if there is within the state supply of goods and services. If it is across the state, state to union territory, okay, it is either IGCST, okay, and here it may be SG or UT. UT is union territory, okay. If it is across the state, then there is IGST. Now here comes the catch. Now somebody has paid input tax. This is called input tax for this fellow. He has paid input tax. Now he is trying to utilize that input tax when he is paying the output tax. When he is paying the output tax, he is trying to utilize it. But that time he came to know that his value addition here is not 140, it is just 104. He can't utilize 18 rupees, he feels no. What shall we do about the remaining? Shall we leave it? That is what is called in ITC input tax credit. To the extent this person is not able to utilize the input tax he already paid, that is given a credit. Where? Credit where? Simple answer is this. When I used to teach this subject some 7 years back, it was very difficult to teach this. Credit goes where and all. Now it is very easy. Paytm wallet, you know. What comes to you bought something, you paid excess or you returned, you got the money back. Where does it go? Paytm wallet. It goes to the wallet. Amazon wallet, Paytm wallet, it goes, correct? Instead of saying as wallet, if you say electronic credit ledger, then you know GST. Any problem in calling wallet as electronic credit ledger? Call it, that's all. I couldn't explain this concept in this way those years. Because students, there was no wallet system and all at that time. I have to tell this is a ledger and then all these things. Very easy. It will go and sit there. That money is yours. Only thing is you can't withdraw from ATM. You have to utilize it for trade. When you do output, utilize it. That is the restriction. Okay? Fine so far? Okay? If you are okay, we'll go into little more concepts. Okay? I forgot to cover one thing. Whether you are CA final or CMA final. The most important question that students have is material. What should I study? From where should I study? Okay? You have that question? Yes? Suppose I don't tell you where to study from. Okay? Where will you study? Who are the best of the authors in this indirect access, which you might have studied in either inter or your in CPT in law, okay, or in your degree. Which, if I don't tell you, which author will you go and study? Material. In material also there is a twist, I'll tell you. You are right. Stick to ICAI material. Stick. When I say stick, stick, because he is going to question you based on his material. There may be a very good material outside, I am not saying no. I myself have written, I am not going to say read my book. Okay? But of course that is direct text, but Idea here is you have to clear the exam. Correct? He is going to question you based on this. But then when I say ICAI material, study material, that's all? No. Remember, you have to be please come. You have to be thorough with. Study material is yes, and then, you know there is a supplementary material where they have this case solved questions, you know that? Are you aware of it? Okay, if you are not aware, go to the CA Institute and you will find, apart from study material, there is a practical workbook. What they have done is, they have solved cases in that. Okay, then there are questions that you have to solve. And many times we have seen in the past, questions get lifted from there into the paper. They want to make you study from there. Just for that, they lift and put over there. Done? Yes? Over with this? No. Select case laws. Who gives this? Your material, your ICAI or ICMAI, whichever. Okay? They give this select case laws. In those select case laws, the more recent case laws are more valuable for the exam, and the landmark judgments. Landmark judgments means, like for example, there was a judgment in 1960s on Wazir Sultan tobacco. It is still very relevant today because it was a landmark. It changed the approach of how you deal with indirect taxes. At that time, though it was not GST, but indirect taxes, how it has to be dealt, it changed the approach. So landmark cases and more recent cases. Okay? With me so far? Yes? Everybody? There is one good thing for you over here. If you are a student for whom remembering, lot of sections, provisos, numbers, exactly what it says, if it is difficult to anybody? Difficult for me. Yes? Okay, I just said so that you will put your hands up. Okay? For such people, here is the trick. Read, understand as many case laws as possible. And if you can answer that question based on the case law also, because case law is a story to remember. Okay? It is not compulsory, you have to remember who was the petitioner and who was the litigant and against whom. That A versus B, you don't have to always remember. When to remember, I will tell you. Okay? If you remember, it's a story. This case, this is what happened. Honorable Supreme Court, Honorable High Court held this view. Okay? And therefore, I am using that judgment to say this. Okay? Then what happened to the sections and provisos and everything? That Honorable High Court took care of it. Honorable Supreme Court took care of it. You don't have to worry about it. If you are, because sometimes it can happen, too many sections, provisions, it can confuse you. This is a helpful place for you. Everybody following me? Am I fast? No? Now, again, you don't, like I told you, you don't have to remember the names and write cases and everything, but keep some 10-15 cases with names. Some 10-15 with names and everything. Why? Suppose, bad luck, question paper came very difficult. Okay? Question paper came very difficult. Now, whatever you answer is not going to be up to the mark. The trick here is you have to impress the examiner. Correct? See, I know you by face. If I correct your paper, I won't know you by face. Correct? I will know you by what is written. You may have tricked me by writing only those 5 cases which are relevant, but I am still fine. In this paper also, this boy or this girl is able to write 5 case laws. Impressed. So automatically it is my psychology as an examiner. I will start looking at you as a respectable person, right? So keep some case cases with you, right? Next, most important thing, recent amendments. Now, you are in final, okay? In final, both these institutes want you to know what is happening around you recently, okay? Because once you are out of this, when you are into practice, you have to deal based on the recent amendments. So they want you to know this thoroughly, okay? When does this come? What happens is around, who are all November 24 attempt students here? 1, 2, anybody? Anybody May 24? You are May 24. You are May 24. You also. Huh? No, no. I know, but CMA is fine. May 24. Okay. Anybody 25? No. So what you do is about 2 or 3 months, before. Anyway, I will take care of this. But 2 or 3 months before, we'll have to download these amendments, and we have to study the existing position of the law and the current position of the law. Just the change, because the question will be directly on the change. Okay? This much is non-negotiable. Okay? This much is non-negotiable. It looks very big, it is not. Within these two, 80% of your study will be done. These are the ones that will take care of you able to impress the examiner, you able to showcase that, okay, I am in touch with what is happening around me, okay, that edge to get that 60 plus, this will take care of that, okay, here. And whether it is final, whether it is inter, whether it is CA, whether it is CMA, nothing will change, okay. One page of this I don't want you to compromise, one page also, okay. So I have two requirements from you as students. You have to do this, okay. One, stick to this material. Two, be regular. What happens is, the way we conduct class here is, I will make you do a lot of talking, okay. Today first class, I think you guys are all shy about the camera or something, you're all tight, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5 classes, you'll start talking, okay. You'll start talking, I'll make you do that. Now, that rhythm if you miss and you come after a break or something, it will be difficult, okay. 2. And part of the 2 is, after every chapter, okay, we will do some kind of a self-introspection, tests, exams, okay. You have to see where you stand, okay. I will tell you what to solve, what not to do and everything, 1 or 2 chapters together, okay. You need to know where you are, okay. Am I good with this? Okay, should I go back and do it? That, okay. So this, and then be regular. These are the 2 things I want from you. Big task, manageable, okay. Fine. Can we go more? Yes. Now, GST, okay. Now GST collected on any material that I buy for myself, okay, is called input tax, and anything that I pay when it is going out is called output tax, okay. The entire output tax, does it go to the government? It goes minus the credit, okay. Now, there are some conditions based on which you can avail it, okay. Let's see, if we can go as much as possible, we will go. I don't want to push everything on one day, okay. So we saw about this, and now you know there is this credit that I can take. Okay, now there should be a logical question. Okay, what can I set off against what? Correct, no? What? So in my wallet, ECL, I call it wallet. In my wallet, there is an IGCST that I paid excess, that is sitting. There is an SGST that I paid excess, sitting. There is a CGST that I paid in excess, sitting inside. Everything is sitting inside. Correct? And now I am going to pay something more. Which one should I utilize? Which one should I utilize? Respective? Now, what the rules say is, if you have multiple balances, first make this fellow 0. Okay? Why? Because this IGCST is common to, is a relative to both. Okay? It is across the state. Both states belong to the same central government. Okay? Says first make this fellow 0. Utilize IGCST first. Okay? After utilizing IGCST, then they say that utilize respective taxes first. Okay? SGCST to SGCST, CGCST to CGCST. Okay? Now, which means IGCST can be adjusted to both of them. Okay? At some point of time, there will be a case that this and this are pending and I am going to pay something. Okay? Now, if that something is, for example, CGCST is there and I am paying SGCST, can I adjust? No. Vice versa is also no. These two cannot be adjusted. Okay? These two can never be adjusted. That is the condition over here. Okay? Now, two people need to know how much balance you have in your account. Okay? One, you are the receiver, you are going to file the return, you should know. Two, government should know. Right? Now for that, there are two forms. One form, this person has to file, GSTR 1. Okay? Forget the form names and numbers, we'll deal with it later. Why? It is like having a common ledger, digital ledger. If he files, automatically it will come over there that I supplied this much worth of goods with so much GST to this person. Okay? Since it is digital, there is very little chance of manipulation. Okay? Now that will come. This person will file, I supplied so much of goods with so much of tax, hence I am taking ITC. Fine? Okay? Both of them are there, and like your income tax, incometaxindia.gov.in, likewise there is a GST website. Government, the assessing officer can go and see that, he can go and verify that are these two people saying correct or not. It digitally over there, the proof is there, the invoice is attached, everything is over there. Okay? Now, there are some more conditions. Okay? Some more conditions which are called rules, utilization rules. Okay? You have to remember to study. If you need to know ITC, where is it? ITC is in two places. Okay? One, section 16 to 21, I think. Yeah, 21. And then rule 36 to 45. Okay? Okay? These are rules, provisions to decide whether you can take ITC or not. Okay? Let's see those rules one by one. Okay? Now, there are two steps here. Okay, as far as ITC is concerned. One is availment. one is utilization of what? Of ITC. Okay. What is the difference, you tell me? Availment and utilization. Huh?
Availment is getting ITC, utilization is using the ITC.
Availment means eligibility. Do you have the eligibility to get that ITC? Utilization means once availment is there, I can utilize while paying the output tax. That is utilization. Okay? Now, so what are the conditions for me to avail and utilize? Okay? First of all, both these people should be registered with, in the GST portal they have to register. Okay? Registered assessees. Right? And by the way, next class onwards, what I'll do is, this is first time so I'm explaining all the basics and all. Okay? Next class onwards, we will have running notes. Okay? Now, that notes will be your LMR. What is LMR? Last पे आई तो बात आ जाती है ना, LMR. Okay? That will be your last minute revision where everything you can revise. You have written, your handwriting, you have understood, you have asked me questions, you have written, so it will strike your mind much faster. Okay? We will continuously keep writing important stuff. Okay? So that will be your daily revision, that will be your last minute revision. Okay? So it will be a gist of all that is over here. But this parallelly you should keep on doing, okay, for all the chapters that we do. Now, next condition, these goods and services, by the way, I don't have to explain, correct, goods and services, okay, it's not one, both, okay. You know what are services, correct? These should be used for business purposes, second condition. He supplied, he used it for himself. He supplied some perfume, leather perfume. He used it on his home shoes. Can you claim ITC? No, you can't. It has to be business purposes. Okay? The terminology that they use is furtherance of business purposes. Okay? By the way, I forgot to tell you one point here between this ICAI and ICMI. All CA students, be friends with CMA students just for this particular subject. You know why? The CMA material is better than the CA material. I should not be saying this, but still. Okay? For me, both are the same. It's somehow they have written it in a much friendlier manner compared to the CA material. In the CA material, there is a certain chart. I have that. That chart is very good, but it is, you need to know the subject a little bit to understand. They explain the entire ITC in a chart. It's very nice. CA material, okay? CA students should not feel bad now. So, okay? CMA material itself is written very friendly manner. You read it, you will understand. Okay? So, remember to be friends with them. Huh? Okay, next. You can claim that ITC based on certain documents. Okay? What are those documents? Invoice, debit note, bill of entry. Okay? If the invoice is revised, then revised invoice. Okay? What should it have? It should have the amount of GST, it should have the description of the goods, the valuation of the goods, okay, who was the buyer, okay, the original buyer, and all these details. So, we spoke condition number 1, there is no place to write. Is there a duster? Oh yeah, sorry. Which one did you understand well that I can erase? Which part? This one, huh? He came the latest, and he says here. That means those two parts you didn't understand? Huh? This is a catch, no? Huh? Which one should I erase? In the middle? Everything you understood. See, that's the confidence. Okay, ITC conditions. First one, what did I say? Before that,
Movement of funds.
registered assessee. Registered who? Both. Both these people should be registered. Okay. Then yes, business purpose. Okay. You will get used to my handwriting. Don't worry. Okay. This is my best of my handwriting. If I written on paper, you won't understand this also. Third is based on documents. Documents to prove what? To prove that what goods you bought, what rate you bought, what was the GST percentage you applied, okay, and where does all this thing come? Invoice. Have you seen a bill invoice? Right? In the invoice you see GST invoice will have this GSTIN, okay, it will have the percentage and all those things, okay. Debit note, credit note. What is debit note, credit note? Suppose the invoice is for 1,000 rupees, we have to increase it, okay. The customer will say that you made me pay more, take this debit note and put it on the invoice. That fellow will say, I'll put a credit note, okay, if he has to give back. Adjusting the value of the invoice, debit note, credit note, invoice, based on these documents only you can claim, okay. This is the most important condition. Goods and services received in full. This is also tested in full in your exams, okay. Now, before I tell you, you tell me, what is this? Yes, sir, I don't want you to study, remember, recollect. Logic mind, tell me what it should be. Should have been? Installment?
Yeah.
Okay. Installment, what? So what happened in installment?
Goods we receive goods in lots, parts.
In lots. Okay. Any other answer?
Actual goods supplied.
Actual goods?
Actual goods supplied.
Actual goods supplied. Okay. If I say right or wrong, others will not answer. So wait. Yes. The closest answer is what he said. If I am receiving in lots, okay, then after the entire lot is received, only then you can claim. Okay. You might know that I am going to receive 12 installments. It does not mean that after the first installment you go and claim. Okay. Government wants to prevent administrative problems. You first claim, then you don't get those lots. Okay. Then reversal. Don't you do this in wallet? Okay. It came to your money, it came to your account. You don't do anything. Suppose it goes out of the account. Dispute. Bank accounts, don't you go and do dispute? You paid some money. Okay. You paid some money. You ordered something in Amazon. Okay. You entered some number. Right. You want to cancel the transaction. If it is you entered wrongly, you want to cancel the transaction. Okay. Here that is called reversal. Okay. This works exactly like that wallet. You can take credit. If you have taken too much credit, reverse it. Give it back. Okay. If you don't give it back, what happens? After that you can't get credit. Correct? If you don't get credit, okay, if you pass it on to the other person, this condition is violated. Will that person take goods from you? You yourself don't have credit. You are passing it on here. This person is not getting the benefit. He won't take goods from you. Then you have to keep those goods in your stock only. That is why this condition is there. Okay. So, goods received in lots. Okay. Then, another important condition, payment. On 80 days. Which means what? We availed. Okay. The idea is what? When you pay, there should be no cascading effect. If you don't pay at all, and you play ITC game, so two friends start doing that. Okay. You don't pay me, I don't pay you. I will send you, you send it back to me. They start playing ITC. So payment within 180 days. Okay. That's the condition government has put. Suppose you take and you don't make payment within 180 days. What happens? This will get cancelled or reversed. Okay, whatever credit goes into your wallet will get reversed. Okay. Now, next condition, this person should have remitted to government before the receiver we erased. Okay, before the receiver can claim. If he is sitting keeping that money in his pocket, then you can't claim. You can only claim if this money has reached the government. Who? This person. Clear? Logical, no? Now, then both of them should have filed return. If you don't file return, you can't claim ITC. You can only start. Okay. So we were at returns being filed. Okay. Now, another interesting scenario which is often tested in the exam is depreciation. Why did depreciation come here? Come in, please. Why did depreciation come here? Now, any goods which are in capital nature, capital goods, okay? Remember, when I said goods and services, okay, it can be capital goods or it can be goods, okay? If you buy, say, plant and machinery, say it costs you 1 lakh and on that you paid 18% GST, okay? Tell me, based on your accounting rules, on what will you claim depreciation? 1 lakh only? Forget ITC for now. Simply think about your accounting rules. 1 lakh only? No. You can claim on the entire 1,18,000. That is the accounting standards in accounting. I forgot the standard, 6 or 9 or I don't remember. Okay. Now, if you now his point is true. Now, if you claim there for 1,18,000, if you claim there for 1,18,000, then you cannot claim ITC. That's the point. Okay. So if you want to claim an ITC, then you can't claim over there. Okay. So you have to take a decision this way or that way, where you want to claim. Okay. Can you change the decision? Can you change the decision? No? Once given forever?
Yes, because we mentioned that we added to cost of the asset.
Itna bhi strict nahi, okay? You can change after 1 year. Okay? But in that year you cannot withdraw that choice. That year you have to continue. Okay? Now, one last utilization rule. Okay? Suppose there is a loss, which is an abnormal loss. Okay? So supplier is giving here, he paid 100, on that you paid 18%, and then there is, I am not saying normal loss. It's a normal loss based on that product commodity, it may happen. Abnormal loss, pilferage happened, some fire happened, something happened. Pilferage means theft. Theft happened, something happened. To such an extent that this fellow he got only goods worth 80 or services worth say 80,000 or whatever. Now this 80, he definitely cannot convert it into 140. If 100 can be converted to 140, 80 also cannot be converted to 140. Correct? So then you have to adjust your ITC proportionately and claim only the remaining. Then who eats the loss? He eats the loss. Nothing you can do about it. Okay? You go and settle with him however you want. Okay? So these are ITC rules. This is the basics on GST. Okay? Now, if you are clear with all these things, run yourself several times on the mind, then from the next class onwards we can go into deeper concepts of valuation. levy, GST levy, valuation, rules, okay? Some of the important provisos, okay? There's a famous proviso called second proviso. Second proviso to what also nobody knows, okay? Of course it is there, but everybody knows it by the name second proviso. The name is called like that, okay? So we'll do all those things, okay? For now I want to leave you with this, okay? Any questions, anybody? No? We have to go into cases where ITC is blocked credit. And then there are cases where you never get any credit. Okay? There are examples for that. Okay? I don't want to put everything on your mind in the first class. We can go for another 1 hour or 45 minutes, but just don't want to do that today. I'll give you a glimpse of what it is. There are blocked credits where you don't get credit. There are cases, means blocked credit means it's available here in your wallet, in your ledger, but you can't use it. Availment is there, you can't utilize. Okay? And then there are cases where even availment is not there. Okay? If you use a motor vehicle in your factory, 12, 13 passengers, not more than 13, less than 13, you use. Driver, salary and all this, that petrol, fuel, everything, all that cost, it is not input for you. If it is more than 13, then you can utilize. Okay? So block credit, no credit, these things we will go into it slowly. Okay? So for now, anything about GST, eligibility, levy, availment, utilization, more than the subject. First class, I want you to think about, do you have the plan to study? Okay? In our CA Institute, if you remember, it is written, 1 hour of planning will save 10 hours of confusion. Right? I want you to be clear with what are you going to study, how are you going to study, what is expected of you, all those things. If you are clear, then these things will catch up slowly. Okay? Any questions, anybody on that so far? No? Okay. So newcomers, you are also CA final, CMA final? CMA inter. CA inter. And you are here for which class? Direct taxes. That's the next class or the earlier class? Okay. So that's all I had for you today. Okay. Have a good rest of the day. See you soon.